What's going on, Andrea? Everyone's asking what's going on. Yes, perfect. What's going on?
Yes, it is a very high-level case. A lot of people are curious, but what we can say is at this moment, there is nothing happening outside the High Court of Dominica. So the authorities entered this morning. They entered just before 9 o'clock, just after 9 o'clock. Proceedings are ongoing. We have heard that Mr. Choksi will not be joining in person. He'll be joining via Zoom. He is currently a patient on the Emory ward of the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, so he will not be here at the High Court in person this morning, but he will, of course, be joining via Zoom. He's not the only one joining via Zoom. He also has two members of his legal team who are based in Antigua, Queen's Counsel Justin Simon and Queen's Counsel John Carrington, who will also join via Zoom. They're probably in on the session right now as we speak. And he has 4 lawyers here from Dominica, Mrs. Cara Shillingford Marsh, Mr. Wayne Marsh, Mr. Wade Norde, and Mr. Julian Prevost. We've seen videos of some of these attorneys entering the High Court of Justice as they got ready for this morning's proceedings. This, as I mentioned, is a very high-level case. We've gotten orders from the judge not to take pictures of the outside of the building, orders to turn our phones off while in the courtroom. There's also a gag order on those attending, so they cannot say anything to the media. So we really have to wait until this is done and the gag order is removed for us to know what exactly is happening. I am here at the side of the High Court building here in Dominica. So you can see there's the side entrance where they would normally, if they have, let's say, high-level individuals who they want to move in and out, and they don't want everybody to know, they would actually use the side entrance here so that not a lot of people would know, and they have some level of privacy when they're moving to and from the courthouse. But for the most part, other people use the front entrance to enter. Earlier on, there was a high police presence at the front of the court. We approached them to ask them for a comment, but they told us they were told not to talk to the media. So we have been trying to get people to talk to us, but it's very difficult, partly because no one is here outside to talk to us. Those who can give us information on the inside, and they're currently in the court proceedings, and the others who can't have been told not to tell us anything. So the police have discussed. We expect them back shortly. We don't know exactly when this will wrap up, but we'll keep you posted definitely, because we know this is a very high-level case. It involves Dominica, Antigua, and India, and everybody wants to know what exactly is going on. We're doing our best to keep you posted, and we're trying to reach out to officials. But for the most part, we are being told no, we're being told to wait, and we're being told we will be informed later what is going on. So this is the side entrance here. Going to walk you to the front to see what's going on. But there's nothing much going on at the moment. We just have some reporters on the outside. We also have some police officers on the outside, and people entering the building through their regular run-of-the-mill activities at the High Court. What would you like to ask? So, heading over to the front, and it's quite empty. As you can see, we just have people doing their regular daily proceedings at the court. There are no officials here, no police officers, no attorneys. It's very quiet at the moment. We know everything is happening inside, but we've been told to keep our phones off. We've been told nobody can talk to us just yet. So we're just waiting on the outside patiently. And as soon as things break over here in Dominica, we will let you know as soon as that happens.
Okay, have we heard absolutely anything from the prosecution, anything from your sources yet?
Not yet, because as I mentioned, the phones are off, and even messaging while they are in the courtroom, that can be tricky, because what we want to avoid is the judge finding out and telling us and kicking us out of the courtroom. So we're complying with the judge's orders. That is High Court Judge Bernie Stevenson. She's the one presiding over this case. She's told us don't take pictures of the outside of the building, turn our phones off on the inside. So messaging our reporters on the inside, while we can do that, we don't expect to get a response because the phones will be turned off. But we know as soon as things happen, as soon as the break comes, we will hear from them the latest on what happened inside.
Yes. And Andrea, you know,
yes.
While Rhonda and Ronaldo were also reporting, and I know that Ronaldo Luke is inside the courtroom. Now we are hearing that we are now hearing that the court hearing itself is going to come to an end. So it's very important for you to help us get the news first and get the key people as they leave the courtroom first. So You can be stationed there right in front of the courtrooms in a strategic position so that you can get them first.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm going to have to ask you to repeat. I just had a lot of traffic in my area.
Okay, I'll keep the question short. I'll keep the question
hear
short.
You quite clearly. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay, let me repeat that. There is a lot of anticipation, and we saw the opposition leader also inside the courtroom. Do we have details on why he's present there?
That we can only speculate on. I know because of the high level of nature of this case, it would be of interest to him as the opposition leader. He has been a very big advocate for freedom of speech, both on the part of the people and of the media. So I knew he would have a vested interest in this case and how it plays out. He believes people should be given a chance to speak their mind and speak their opinion. And of course, based on the circumstances surrounding Mr. Choksi's arrival here in Dominica and the circumstances surrounding his absence from the High Court this morning, I know it will be of very keen interest to the opposition leader. And he, of course, will be speaking to his supporters and to various media houses on what transpired in the courthouse and giving his opinion on how he feels these things should have been handled and how things were actually handled during the morning's proceedings.
You know, Andrea, it's been some amount of time these submissions have been on. Now, how long does a procedure like this really take?
The procedure depends on how much information is brought forth by both parties, and that we don't know for sure. So while we do have 6 lawyers representing Mr. Choksi, we have lawyers representing government as well. And it really depends on how much information they put forth and how long the judge decides to the matter will run based on information given. So while things could wrap up within a day, we cannot promise because there may be unforeseen circumstances. So it will take a few hours for sure. Hopefully by lunchtime, we will know what's going on. So in the next maybe 2 hours or so, we'd have a better idea of how things stand here in Dominica. But right now, things are extremely slow. Everything that is noteworthy, all the action, quote unquote, is happening inside at the moment. So we are on the outside looking to see who comes in, who comes out, who we can snatch an interview from or get any information. We have police officers who show up every now and then. They've been told not to talk to us. The lawyers haven't exited yet, so we cannot get information from them. And of course, those on the inside have been told to keep their phones off so they cannot relay information to us on the outside to share with you.
Yeah, you know, Andrea, I'll stay with the pictures and I'll stay with you live. This entire, you know, and you know, Rhonda was outside the court some time back and she was trying to speak to some of the witnesses there, some of the activists, people who are simply there to see what's going on. There is so much of interest. And in the words of one activist who was there, he said it's like almost like a Netflix movie. And never before, he said, never before have we seen so much of action in Dominica, where a man turns up on a yacht, there are abduction charges, governments are involved, opposition leaders at loggerheads with the government. So why don't you tell us why and how is the Dominican media covered this, and why is it so interesting, and how have you captured it?
Well, to be honest with you, what the gentleman told you is extremely true, because this sort of thing doesn't happen often in Dominica. And when it does generate a lot of interest. Similar to your earlier question of the opposition leader being present, it's because of the circumstances surrounding the situation. So this doesn't happen often. It garners a lot of interest. And of course, because of what has been circulating in the media as to why Mr. Choksi is here, it has piqued the interest of a lot of people here in Dominica. Normally, we do our best to cover it from all angles, which at times can be difficult because we are in a small society and we don't have the numbers of people to give us the information that we need. So whereas we could get information from different angles, it's not as many people who can talk to us. So if the people who give us information are in the courthouse, we really cannot reach them. So that is a difficulty that we are facing all the time. I think that's one of the reasons why the opposition leader always advocates for freedom of speech, freedom of information, for both the media and the wider public, because he knows the importance of people knowing what exactly is going on. And because people don't know what exactly is going on, it can seem like a cloak and dagger situation. And that, of course, raises more, let's say, suspicion or interest among the Dominican public. We do have people advocating some human rights activists advocating. We had them earlier, sorry. We don't have anything happening right now. Normally, or in other situations, you would have, let's say, a small protest happening on the outside. They might show up later, maybe during a lunch break, so they can see what happened and voice their opinions and, speak to the public on how things happened during the morning's proceedings. But generally, these things generate a lot of interest on the part of the Dominican public. And of course, we as the media try our best to cover from all angles as is possible. But given that the key players are on the inside, it's difficult to actually get to them until they take a break around lunchtime or shortly before that.
Yeah. Let me see if I can go across to Rhonda as well. Andrea, stay with me because both you and, Rhonda are live with us. Yes. So, Rhonda, you've been there as well and everyone's asking what's going on inside the courtroom, but we don't know what's going on because we've been told that, the media, the journalists have been asked to switch off their phones, so we don't know what's going on. What more are you picking up? We saw some advocates come out. Do you know who these lawyers were of Mehul Choksi who came out and then went back in? Rhonda, you'll just have to turn your camera around because, it's flipped. And yes, that's correct. Yeah, that's better. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. Yes, so of course, things are still going on a bit slow this morning outside of the court. As we're hearing from Ronaldo inside of the court, the reporter, that they have been asked to turn off their cell phone, so they're not able to report anything to us at this moment. So yes, we're just patiently waiting to see what happens. This is it. We see a few citizens come in.
Okay, her feed is frozen there. Let me go back to Andrea. Rhonda, just lost your feed there. I'll just fix that. Going back to Andrea. Okay, I think her feed is back. It's frozen again. Okay, let me go back to Andrea. Andrea, so
Hi.
Tell us a little bit about the legal team of Mehul Choksi. I think you were able to get some pictures to us. How big is his team which is inside the courtroom right now?
His team, to my knowledge, it is 6 lawyers strong. We have 4 in person and we have 2 who are based in Antigua. We have the former Attorney General of Antigua who is also on his team, and that is Justin Simon. And we also have the Queen's Counsel, John Carrington from Antigua, joining in on the Zoom call this morning for the proceedings. His legal team consists of 4 Dominicans, and one of them is Mrs. Cara Shillingford-Marsh, and she has to date a number of very high-profile cases under her belt. She has been very vocal and very active and very successful in a number of cases which have been brought against the government of Dominica. So recently there was a case whereby the people of Salisbury brought forward a case against them, and she spearheaded that movement. And there was also the election petition case of 2019, which she also spearheaded. And she has been doing a very good job and making a name for herself as a young lawyer here in Dominica. So she's on Mr. Choski's team as well. We also have Mr. Wayne Norde, who is on the team, another well-decorated lawyer here in Dominica. Wayne Marsh, of course, also joins the team. And then we have Julian Prevost, who is one of Dominica's senior lawyers and also has a number of cases under his belt. So you can say that Mr. Choksi is well represented here in Dominica, both by the local lawyers and by the Antiguan lawyers. And in case people may be wondering why Antigua and Dominica are representing, he is a person of interest in both countries. And I think both have joined forces to give him the best representation possible. So that's why we have 2 Queen's Counsels from Antigua joining the 4 attorneys in Dominica who are making a Mr. Choski's legal team. And this is the scene outside the High Court
And Rhonda,
of Justice
what is it
in
that
Dominica.
you can tell us about what has happened so far?
Well, I have just been informed by
Yes.
one of the reporters
What
or
has
the
happened
journalists
so
inside
far?
of the court is that Mr. Choksi is on the live. He has called in via Zoom. So
there's breaking news
and the
coming in.
proceeding is
Choksi-
ongoing right now.
Choksi appears in court via Zoom. Choksi has appeared in court via Zoom. That's the breaking news update. Choksi has appeared in court via Zoom. And that's just happened. What more can you tell us? What more can you tell
That
us?
is all we're hearing right now. It just was just a quick information that we got from one of the reporters inside of the court, and they had to run back in very quickly to see what is it that was ongoing. So we couldn't have received too much information from that reporter, but he had to go back in very quickly. But we're informed that he called in via Zoom, and the proceeding is ongoing at this moment.
Okay. Dipti, seems like, you know, we're coming towards the end of the hearing because it's been ongoing since 6:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m. local time. Sorry, that's India time, 6:30 p.m. And that was 9 a.m. in Dominica. And it's been close to 2 hours. So we're hoping that it's coming towards an end. But we will have to wait and watch. We'll have to wait and watch.
Absolutely. So we're just waiting.
Oh, yes, it's
We're
close.
going to try and get some of the try and see who else we can speak to bring you some latest developments. So I'll be with you.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
Yes, go on, please.
Okay, I think we'll take a short break now, Deepthi, because we'll try and gather some more details. And Mehul Choksi's wife spoke to Ridhamanand Bardwaj, our executive editor, a little after 5 p.m. I think it was 5 p.m. when she spoke to us, and we'll play that conversation out as well.